Want to photograph birds in your backyard, but it's small and you don't have any trees? No worries, I'll show you how I do it in this video. So here's the interesting thing about my backyard. We live in an old northwestern Pennsylvania town where the houses are built really close together here in our neighborhood. I do not have woods at all. There's houses all around me. We're just kind of in the middle of this neighborhood. Whenever we moved here, we had 3 trees. Well, lightning has hit all of them, I think, at some point, causing them to rot, and we now have no trees at all on our property. There are a few trees around me, but they really don't help with what I like to do with backyard birding photography. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up your own little backyard birding studio without any trees and still have fun capturing some images. So the first thing that I did is I purchased a background that has just green leaves on it, kind of faded, out of focus. And I put that on my garage, which is right in front of me, right behind the camera that I'm recording on right now. And I just used some 3M strips to attach that to the garage, to use that as my background. It doesn't look the best, but I would much rather photograph against that than just my off-white garage. And depending on which perch I'm photographing birds on, I can actually get it blown out of focus fairly well, and it looks okay. What you have to remember about a setup like this is it's just for enjoyment, being close to nature, being able to step right outside of your back door and walk into your yard and have an opportunity to photograph wildlife. That's what I like about this. All of the things that I've used in my backyard birding setup are available on Amazon, and I have links in the description down below. So I have found that the best feed for me to use is really just the biggest bag of the cheapest stuff that they have at Walmart. That has really worked out very well. In fact, I've purchased some more expensive stuff and it seems that the birds ignore it. They actually don't like it. So just the wild bird seed seems to be doing very well. However, I do sometimes like to purchase some peanuts in the shell. Chipmunks really seem to like those. Blue jays like those as well. I used to just use green suet cages for suet, but I found that the European starlings are just all over those things and devour it in the first morning, really, that you put it out. So after researching and looking into some things, I purchased an upside down suet holder that really does seem to do a good job. Now here's what happened. The starlings, they didn't touch it. And the only things that were coming in to use that suet were nuthatches and a hairy woodpecker that I see. But those European starlings, they figured it out. And now they like to hover real quick and get up to that suet and just peck at it, peck at it, peck at it. And now even some of them are starting to cling on and feed upside down, whenever all the research will tell you that they don't do that. Well, they wanted that suet and they found a way to do it. Now the funny thing is, the robins, I think, have been watching them do this, and now the robins are fluttering up and pecking and getting the suet. But I will say that the upside down suet holder is the best option. It makes the suet last. Those guys can't go through it nearly the way that they were. I'm only replacing it like once every 2 weeks now, rather than once a day. So I highly recommend giving that item a try. So now let's talk about the perches that I have set up. Again, I don't have any trees in my backyard. So what I did is I went to a local park. I found a branch that was laying on the ground, and I brought it home. I zip tied it to a light stand, and now that sits there. I have it at a level that I'm able to shoot straight across, so I have the green background, and that's all I see whenever the birds are sitting on that perch. Something I like to do with that perch is I take some suet and I mash it down onto parts of that perch. And it's really cool because the hairy woodpecker likes to come in sometimes and sit there, and he'll spend a lot of time using that suet. So that's something that I recommend. Use your perches, set up feed on those perches to keep the birds there a little bit longer. I also have some logs set up, and with those logs, I like to place seed there to attract the birds to come in and spend a little bit of time there. One of those logs actually has some natural divots down in it, and again, I'll take suet and I'll push it down as tight as I can to cause the birds to come in and spend some time on that suet, which gives me plenty of time to rattle off a few shots. Another thing that I've set up is a bird bath. Birds are always attracted to water, and I purchased a fountain that's solar powered, so as long as it's in direct sunlight, it's going to shoot the water just up in the air a little bit, and the birds see that and they're attracted to it, and they come in for a little drink or a bath. And again, it gives you another photographic opportunity, especially if they sit on the perch first before going to the bath. I highly recommend getting Merlin Bird ID on your phone. What's so cool about that is you're going to be able to hit record, and it's going to identify the sounds of the birds in your area that it's hearing. So you're going to know what birds you might have around your house to be able to attract. Another neat thing about it is if you're not familiar with the birds that are coming to you, you'll be able to take a picture and then upload that picture to the app, and it will give you a very good idea of what bird you actually photographed. I have a piece of camo fabric here, and I like to use this sometimes. Like I'll try to block myself out. My camera's kind of off center where I would normally keep it, but you know, I like this because I'm able to still be able to see, but I can block out things a little bit better so that I'm not disrupting the birds and they're not afraid and they're willing to come down and spend some time here in the yard. And you will find very quickly, if you feed birds, you know this, that they tend to understand that you're the one that's feeding them, and they become a little bit more comfortable with you. Honestly, I get it. This may not be everyone's cup of tea, and it's really not mine either. I would much rather be out in the woods. But on those days, whenever you're kind of tired, it's been a long day at work, it's pretty neat that you can just take a few steps out of your door and photograph in a setup kind of like this. And I know it's artificial, but it gives you that nature fix. It allows you to just be close to wildlife and observe them doing their thing. Sometimes I can see these same birds out in the wild, and I don't have the same excitement that I have for the ones that come to my yard. They're my birds in a sense, and they've come here because of the things that I have done. So to be able to take a picture of them, it means something a little special. I would really like to get some things planted here in the backyard that would provide a more natural setting. If you have any suggestions on things that I could plant to maybe block out the man-made things like my fence and the garage, I would really like to get some pines in here, but I also don't want to plant trees that are going to go way out of control. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and it might give you a little bit of hope if you live in a tight neighborhood like I do in a small backyard, that you can still have a lot of fun setting up a backyard bird studio and immersing yourself in nature just within a few steps of your front or back door. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.